Hello and welcome back to the vlog. It is the Trans Rights Readathon. Today is March 23rd, so it did start yesterday, but I am starting my reading today. If you don't know what the Trans Rights Readathon is, it started last year, so I will have my last videos down below. I did a vlog and things. Basically, it's a readathon where you read trans books for a week. This started last year over on Book Talk by author Sim Kern. Now, this is a decentralized readathon, and the whole purpose was to read trans books and donate to trans organizations. So I'm just going off of what I did last year, and I am asking my community to donate either a flat donation or $5 per book they read. If they have the means, if you are going to break the bank by donating, please don't do so. We are in a recession, I totally understand. Do not break the bank with this. But if you would like to help me, I am donating to one of my favorite organizations, Trans Ice Hockey, created by Boston Pride Hockey, which is a LGBT hockey team. It's a collective of trans and non-binary hockey players. Every day, trans people are being targeted in sports, and I just love that Team Trans gives us a opportunity to play hockey, and I just love what they're doing. So if you would like to join me, I will have the form down below. I just need a proof of your receipt. I want to see how much of my community can donate, so I really appreciate if you can, and this will be posted after the readathon, so feel free to still use that link and donate, because we shouldn't just stop here. It should be happening year round. And I do want to point out something that somebody brought up on Instagram, and I'm really happy that they did, because it was something that I didn't think of, and that is on me. They mentioned in an Instagram post, which I will have linked down below, that when they see this readathon, it is really sad because a lot of trans people are struggling right now, and there's GoFundMes all over the place, and we should be focusing on the trans people rather than the organizations. To me, I took this as the bigger organizations like Trans Law Center and things like that. Like, yes, they do deserve our donations, but it is very important to center trans people when you are advocating for us. So I am really glad that they brought this up, because it is definitely something that I should have thought of. So I will also be linking down below some GoFundMes that you can donate to. And if you follow me on Instagram, that is the best place to follow me aside from YouTube when I'm not posting, because I've been trying to post more consistently there because it's just a little bit easier at the moment. I use my stories a lot, and I also have a broadcast channel where I update you on things. So my Instagram is also linked down below, but you're really here to know about what I'm reading for the Trans Rights Readathon. So with all that out of the way, welcome to this weekly vlog. I haven't done a weekly vlog in a while, so I thought I would come and do a Trans Rights Readathon vlog. So it is currently 8:54 a.m. on Saturday, March 23rd. I'm about to jump on Margaret's sprints. It is currently raining, which I think you can probably hear, but this morning I started a short story collection created by an independent publisher, and it's all by trans women and about trans girls, and it is called 99% Magic. I will also have links down below to all the books that I mentioned. They're affiliate links, which are no extra cost to you, but they do help out the channel if you buy a book using my link. This is just basically a short story collection. I think it's fine so far. I am only on the second story. There's a lot of trans joy, which I love and need at the moment. So I'm enjoying that so far. A couple others I have on my TBR and from the library are Bitter by Kweke Mmezi, which is the sequel to Pet, and Dear Mothman by Robin Gao, which is on my 12 for 12 list that I started at the beginning of the year. And one of my great booktube friends, Beck, has been dying for me to read this, so I think that it just makes sense to read this. It's also, I believe that Robin Gao is from Pennsylvania, which is pretty cool. So my goal is to read 3 books this week. I really hope that I can, because life has been a whirlwind lately, but I think that this will be pretty manageable. I want to donate $5 per book that I read, but if I don't, I'll just donate a flat rate of $15, which I will show you my proof once that is all said and done. That is it for my long intro. I'm about to hop on the sprints, and I'll update you once I have a reading update. Bye. Hello and good morning. It is Monday, and today I'm really starting my Trans Rights Readathon. Yesterday I read the whole entire day, but I was finishing up my current reads, one that I had from Libby, so I needed to finish that up. I had my Kindle on airplane mode because I just needed to finish this book. Like, I was already 50% in. I was like, I don't want to return it. And so that happened. And I ended up finishing it. And then I also needed to finish up a book for a vlog I had been filming since February. So now that that's done, I am going to be editing probably today and tomorrow. So it should be up already. I had the Storygraph pick my TBR. So if you want to go and watch that, I'll have it linked up above. I had so much fun filming that, and I'm just glad it's finally done. It was literally supposed to be just for February, but then chaos happened. Now that those are out of the way, I can finally start the Trans Rights Readathon properly and actually be reading for it. So I started a memoir called A History of My Beautiful Body, I think is what it's called, by Belly Ray Belcourt, who is Indigenous and a Two-Spirit author. Hi, just want to clarify something really quick. I ended up taking this off of my Trans Rights Readathon TBR because I did not see anything by the author verifying that he is Two-Spirit. He was on some Two-Spirit lists, but honestly, they were just merged with Indigenous authors, and I hate that that happens. Not all queer Indigenous people are Two-Spirit. So I did end up taking this off. I did finish the book for the Diverse Baseline Challenge, which I'll be talking about still in this video. That's why this is framed as a weekly reading vlog rather than like my Trans Rights Readathon vlog, because I barely even read for the readathon itself. And I still had footage, so I was like, why don't I just make a weekly reading vlog instead? But yeah. I don't know if Belly Ray Belcourt is Two-Spirit. If you know that information and you could tell me, I would highly appreciate that. So until I have some verification from the author himself, I am not including this in my trans reads, but I did read it and I will talk about it in this video at some point. I started it last night before I went to bed, and then I read some of it this morning, and I have been loving it so much. It is so good. It is a memoir, but told in essays, and I'm obsessed. It's so short. It's only 129 pages. So once I'm done work for the day, I will dive into reading that a little bit more. Saturday, I read 99% Magic, but literally I only got like 25 pages in or something, so I haven't touched that since. But I am here because I need to start an audiobook. I think if I start an audiobook, I'll have all my bases covered. Since it's March, it's middle grade March, and I love to read about trans kids and just reading trans middle grade because it's the best. So my audiobook of choice is Both Can Be True by Jules Machias. I'll have to find out how to pronounce their last name. I hope that was right, but it is narrated by M.W. Cartosian Wilson and Kirby Hayborn. And I have heard nothing but great things about it. I am so excited to read it. It was an indie next list pick, a top 10 rainbow book for young readers, and one of the Bank Street Children's Best Books of the Year. Jules Machias explores identity, gender fluidity, and the power of friendship and acceptance in this dual narrative story about two kids who join forces to save a dog, but wind up saving each other. That's why middle grade is just the best. So that is everything for now. I'm going to jump into work, and I will see you later. Hello, happy Friday. I'm popping in because I have not updated this vlog all week. I have been busy and just haven't gotten around to finish a book. And I didn't realize that the readathon ended today. It's till the 29th. But I am just going to do things my way and extend it to the 31st, which I did last year and I know a bunch of other people are doing. And I always say this, but I read better on the weekends. So I just finished up work. It is almost 3 o'clock and I'm about to go on a walk because this is the first day that it's been sunny. So I'm going to go on a walk really quick and I'm going to continue to listen to the audiobook. According to Libro FM, I am 31% in, and I'm really enjoying it. This follows a gender fluid kid, and it's about a dog, and I'm really enjoying it. So I'm gonna go on a walk, and I will be back, but a little reading update. I am in the middle of this audiobook, and I'm still reading the Belly Ray Belcourt book, which is phenomenal. It is such a great memoir. I think that his prose is so good, and I literally could highlight this whole entire book. So I'm hoping when I get some downtime today, I can finish that up because I'm 40 pages in, and the book is 126 or something like that. I just have not gotten the time. I have honestly been editing my Storygraph video all week, and now I am going to go on my walk.
to Dad's apartment tomorrow while Mom's doing her church stuff. I've never pulled the trailer, and there are busy roads between our house and Dad's apartment, but maybe I can find a back way. Maybe I can make this work. It's an imperfect solution, but if I have to go through another week like the one I just had, I'm going to crack.
Hello, I'm here to tell you everything that I read for the last week of March. First, I ended up finishing Both Can Be True by Jules Machias, and this was incredible. I loved it so much. It was very sweet and heavy. This was one of the heavier middle grades that I've read in a minute, but I really enjoyed it. I will say I loved the fact that it talked about gender fluidity, because I feel like most trans middle grade is non-binary, trans masc, or trans femme, and I just loved the way that gender fluidity was written, and I really enjoyed this. The whole book is about these two kids, Daniel, who is a sensitive boy, and his family are just like making fun of him for crying, and there's a lot of toxic masculinity and misogyny going on in his household, and so he is trying not to cry, but he is a sensitive boy. And then we meet Ash, who is gender fluid, and the whole book is them trying to find out their gender because their dad keeps saying, well, I do support trans people, I am a trans ally, but you need to pick one. So there is some transphobia here, however, there is joy. A good comparison to this book, I would say, is Obi is Man Enough. We do have a trans boy in that book, however, I feel like some of the themes are a little similar. We have some transphobia from adults, but what I loved about Obi is we still get to see trans joy, we see first crushes and things, so there is a little bit of a romance in this book, and it is going to give you some trans joy. However, the bulk of the book is about this dog named Chewbacca, who Daniel meets when he is volunteering at an animal shelter, and basically he ends up having the dog because of some events that happen, and he doesn't want the dog to be put down, so he takes the dog for himself. And then there's just a bunch of shenanigans that go on. The heart of the book is so sweet because of what the characters are doing. However, I will say, if you are sensitive to reading about animals, especially like animal death, we have Daniel grieving the loss of his dog, and then just talking about putting an animal down. That's why this book was hard for me, because I was like, oh my god, this is so intense. But it's sweet. So if you cannot read about animals and you're sensitive to that kind of thing, I don't recommend this book because it is so heavy on that. However, I think that this would be so perfect for a kid who is like Daniel, who just like wants to save every single dog. I think that this would be perfect. And if you have a kid that maybe has a friend who is gender fluid, or a kid who is trying to figure out their gender and they think that they might be on a gender fluid spectrum, highly recommend, because I am not gender fluid myself, I'm a trans man, but I do know people. I have had friends who were gender fluid, and I just thought that this was so spot on. It did such a good job of really explaining gender fluidity from the perspective of a kid who is gender fluid. There is some transphobia from parents and things like that, but I really loved these characters, and I'm so glad I finally got a chance to read this because I bought the audiobook from Lero FM like a couple years ago, so I'm glad that I finally got a chance to read this. Next, I read this weird graphic novel that I literally saw on Hoopla and nobody had recommended it to me. I just saw the cover and I was like, this is cool, and then I read the synopsis and it said queer trans masc, and that was all I needed to borrow it. So I ended up reading that, and oh my god, this made me cry, but in the best way. Like, this was happy tears. It basically was like when I read Stay Gold for the first time and I was sobbing because I was like, wow, I've never seen myself in a book before. This is so cool. And this was the same feeling. I was just like, wow, this is so sick to just see two trans men who are in love with each other. Like, it was the best. If you are a trans mask person and you just want some trans joy, holy shit, this gave me so much trans joy. I will say it is very explicit. It's erotica. You can see the characters nude, but I loved that. I loved it so much. It is called the Chromatic Fantasy by H.A. and I need more. I need more. One of the characters, Casper, he is a thespian, and then you find out that he was a jester, and I was like, oh my god, a trans jester? That is something that I never knew I needed until now. Casper is also a criminal, and that leads me to our main character, I would say, Jules. He is a trans man who is stuck in a life as a nun, and he makes a deal with the devil to get out. And this is why I mean this was such a weird ass book, but it was everything. I loved it so much. I feel like it was so chaotic that I don't really have much more to say, except the fact that it was just like a T for T romance, and it was so cool. If you want some T for T romance recommendations, I actually did a video, so I'll link it up above for you. But those are my Trans Rights Readathon reads. And then I did finish up A History of My Brief Body by Billy Ray Belcourt, and this was amazing. I read it for the Diverse Wasteland Challenge. I'll have it linked down below. It started on Instagram, and it is a yearly challenge where you add BIPOC authors to your TBR. And there's 3 prompts, but one of February's prompts was to read a book by an Indigenous author, so I ended up reading this. Billy Ray Belcourt is queer and Cree, and I just thought this was amazing for 129 pages. If you liked In the Dream House, you'll like this. It has a similar vibe because it's essays, but there's also some poetry in here, and it was just cool. This is another book where I don't really know what to say about it, except the fact that I just loved it. You know when you just like love a book and you just don't have any thoughts? Like, that's exactly how I feel. I just wish I could have highlighted this whole entire thing, and I think I might buy a copy. I loved this. I thought it was so great. I just loved everything about it, and I just thought that the prose was so good. I think that that was my favorite part. But he also just talks about being queer and indigeneity, and I just loved the references to his body. It was so interesting. I really enjoyed it. That's why I'm like, if you liked In the Dream House, you'll like this. I totally forgot to add this in the actual video, but here is my receipt to Team Trans. I submitted $15 because I only read 2 books, but I still wanted to give them 15. Definitely go and donate to them if you're able to, and back to the video. But that is everything I read for the last week of March. I would love to know what your favorite book in March was, and I promise you I will be filming a recent read soon. I have just been putting it off, and I shouldn't. I mean, I tried to film it last weekend, and it just didn't happen. There was like the day that I was going to film it, and then it just didn't happen. So this weekend, today I'm filming this, is April 5th. So tomorrow I will be filming my recent reads, and hopefully you will be getting it soon. Hopefully you're getting this on Saturday. That's what I am planning to do. So recent reads is coming. And like I promised in my last video, the Storycraft video, thank you so much for the support on that video, because I did not expect it to get as much traction as it did. The algorithm really loved that video, so thank you so much if you watched it. And if you could go leave a comment on it, I would really appreciate it, because then that tells the algorithm that it's a good video. Like, the likes and things do, but if you comment, that also helps push it to the algorithm, and I'm really proud of that video. So thank you so much if you watched it, and if you didn't, feel free to go and watch it after this. If you want to stay connected and see more bookish things from me, go and follow me on Instagram. I'm being way more active now. I am posting reviews and more bookish content on there, so definitely go and follow me at Pucks and Paperbacks. And if you're new here, hi, I'm Alex. I'm a trans man, and I love to share queer and trans books, just like I did in this video. So if you like that kind of thing, feel free to hit subscribe and like the video, comment. It'll help boost my channel to the algorithm. Thanks if you do, and I hope to see you in my next video soon. Bye.